Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a great day once more. Taking a look again at Bitcoin as per usual. Just starting off the day right here with an analysis, kind of seeing where we're at. We're still establishing lower highs, lower lows. We broke that local high pattern with a very small term higher high pattern so far. So we're not out of the woods yet by any stretch, but that is a slight consolation. But that's not what I like to do. I don't like to give consolations and give you like false hope. The truth is, we're fairly well bearish still. There's nothing here kind of letting us know that we're back in track. This excellent chart is kind of where I was planning to take entry, which we did. FYI, we took a short at what 95.4, and while we only filled on one exchange, we got a good 20% on that little trade there in roughly an hour. So it was a nice little situation. We did also secure profits on our Solana long, basically just close it out. If you can kind of see, we averaged into our position and effectively closed the trade out basically early. So just kind of one of those things you got to do sometimes. But I'll discuss more about Solana here later. I know a lot of my folks that watch this Bitcoin video are into Solana and or maybe discovered me through that. So just yeah, awesome stuff, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Regardless of that fact, let's take a quick look at the backend data here, kind of see what's going on, and kind of recognize a few important factors. Because when it comes to liquidation, there's still a very big chunk between 90 and 91.5K. All right, so it's down below. We want to kind of acknowledge that that's a relevant thing. But yesterday, as we discussed too, we're expecting that short-term bounce to that key level resistance, 95.5, which we just saw hit. So again, things are kind of performing the way they should based on the fact that we swept all immediate short-term liquidation within the last week. That was totally fully swept. Now we got a new area here. Look at this, the late longs here at 92,000 got swept again. So not great conditions to take a long, right? If you're okay with consistently losing money, then I guess it's a different story, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. Look how close we are to this massive level of liquidation. Now keep in mind, we almost, or I think we did effectively, if you count 92,000 as kind of a round number, we did effectively triple bottom, right? Now, even though that carries a high success rate of reversal, I feel like the way the patterns are forming here, the way things are breaking down with liquidation as well, there's a stronger chance the price breaks down, or at the very least, we get a candle wick down to 90, maybe 87K as a rough estimate there, just to sweep all this liquidation here. But either way you look at it, it's still a very, very big chunk, probably closer to about 50 billion in liquidation between 90 and 91.5. So just kind of know that that's there. We can also see liquidation delta is obviously truly bearish. Everyone's shorting this coin with no surprise. But keep in mind, if this stays too long, too low for too long, then we could very well see the price recover. So that could speak to the triple bottom kind of playing out and the price recovering from here. But it's way too early to tell. We haven't broken any descending trend lines yet. There's no reason to take a long, at least with confidence. If you're scalping, different story. Day traders, it's all good. Do what you do best. But I prefer not to day trade, and I like to swing trade. And right now we are nicely in profit on our short at 95.4. So we'll just continue to leave that open at this point until anything kind of changes. There's nothing telling us that there's any shift in momentum. I don't care if somebody says there's a hidden bullish divergence on whatever time frame. That's consolation. You don't trade on consolation. Everything else is pointing down. It makes no sense to long. All that being said, though, 98.5, 100,000, 102. Those are some areas that most people are underwater, right? So a lot of people were taking longs at the top. Again, hindsight's 2020, but we waited for that 100,000 level to be bullishly backtested. It didn't bullishly backtest, it just broke straight through, and we missed out on our long opportunity. Again, it's a good thing we missed out because we didn't take a long at the top, right? That's why you wait for any type of break of a resistance or an ascending trend to be retested, and this level at 100,000 did not hold. Therefore, we did not take a long, right? A lot of folks keep asking me in my community too, when are we going to take a Bitcoin long? Because we were considering one at the 95.5 mark when the price is pulling back. And I suggested, as I do in my videos, to wait for confirmation. There's no confirming factors that support level will hold. We got to make sure that it holds and or test first. And the best way to identify when it holds is just kind of looking at the daily time frame. Because the daily time frame gives us perspective on a 24-hour period that, XYZ happened in this amount of time. While it's not an exact science, the bigger the picture, the better supports and resistances become, or more consistent. Some folks will take like a 5-minute support or resistance and be like, all right, I'm going all in. Sometimes it works, trust me, it does. For the most part, you're going to find a consistency of 50% or less. The house always wins. I don't see why you should just keep giving money to these exchanges and or market makers. They destroy everyone's account. Well, why should you be any different, right? They don't care about you. They care about manipulating the market and moving it the way they see fit. Having said that, we're underneath all moving averages, underneath 95.5K roughly. Again, the reason why that number is relevant isn't just because it's a 0.236 fib level, but it's mainly because we got this local high 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 attempts on the daily time frame to break it. Once it broke through, came right back down, therefore new resistance. It's also a point of control too. So if you kind of look here, again, this points of control can change. Open interest can change depending on the time frame you're looking at. But roughly here, since like the beginning of December as a close approximate, we can see that people have bought the most at 95.5. Therefore, it's a resistance. What do you know? The price came up there and rejected. It's very consistent. I talked about that in yesterday's video too, being an area of interest. And future reference too, if you're part of my community, you'll know that I have trade alerts here. And my trade alerts basically suggested that we're going to short at 95 to 96.5. And essentially, a lot of details are provided there. So just know that that's available to anyone who has a membership or higher, Pioneer or higher, if you will. Let's talk about the daily time frame. Recognize that we are under 50 on the RSI, still a bearish sign. MACD is diverging now. There's no reason to take a long, folks. And again, if you're the kind of person that took a long at 91.5 or 92,000 and you're in profit right now, watch it close. That's all I ask. It's not like you're a total idiot for doing that, but you just took a high risk trade and you shouldn't be bragging about it online, right? You should keep that to yourself because nobody wants to hear how terrible of a trader you are because you took a high risk trade. Again, it's a strange phenomenon of what happens in the market nowadays where people gloat about taking super high risk trades. It's just a unique thing to me. I don't know. I don't like to brag about things that I do that are dumb. I don't know about you. Granted, I do less dumb things than the average person, I like to feel. I still do them on occasion from time to time and, sweep it under the rug, right? Why boast about how idiotic you are? All right, anyways, conversation for another day. Tell me how you really feel. Let's see, a 4-hour time frame. We're kind of seeing that tentative bounce off the 30 on the RSI. And we can kind of see the money flow index is also low. So this can be a common pivot point. This can be a place in which you can trade for a lot of success. I talked about this yesterday, but it's got to be short term, right? These are mostly dead cat bounces until we break the descending trend line. There's no reason to consider a trade. And the descending trend line is still establishing itself, by the way, folks. It's not just a line that you draw from here to here, okay? That's not how it's supposed to work. The truth is, when it comes to trend lines, a lot of times they're moving concurrent with moving averages. So if anything, you're going to draw out a trend line that looks like this, right? That goes concurrent with a 20-day SMA, because the 20 is usually the trend setter. So being below the 20, to me, is something that's important to be aware of. So I'll leave that on the chart. I'll clean up our charts, of course, as per usual, post it on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. Looks a little something like this. Thanks to all the people following and liking the videos, or more so just liking my posts too. Really appreciate that. We got 1,800 followers now. It takes a while to kind of grow on Twitter, I've noticed, but it's been a great experience and a good way to communicate too if you want to go ahead and reach out. So taking a look here at the 4-hour, the easy summary here is that we're truly bearish. There's not a single thing here that identifies we want to take a long. Ichimoku Cloud is going to confirm the same thing too. The difference here with this is that the lagging span is getting close to the price action. So it generally implies that you shouldn't be taking long or short at this exact moment. The truth is, we got momentum to the downside. We're still under the descending trend. You're going to have a tremendous amount more success shorting Bitcoin than you will take a long. And a good profit target for Bitcoin would be somewhere between 90, just say 90,100 as a round number, upwards of 91.5. Because again, there's that heavy amount of liquidation that is soon to be swept. There's a strong chance that's going to get taken care of. Again, this is just too much risk in the market, and that's what market makers do. They like to balance things out and reach equilibrium, and we're going to find that here too when the price comes to that level. So it's not a guarantee, nothing truly ever is. It's a larger probability of this happening, right? So again, don't short to zero. If you're going to short, have a realistic target, and if you're going to take it long, just watch it super close and make sure that you're not just trading on emotion or oh, I had a bad trade, I'm going to jump right back in and try to get in there. Revenge trading is the path to the dark side. It's very, very bad. All right, folks, I look forward to working with you in the future. If you want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is a site. I have a trading academy, community, and signals group. but mainly just the community is where it's at. We got some awesome people in there. Thanks to all my admins, Dave as well as Mr. Anderson. You're both pretty awesome. Rexar too. We got a lot of good folks there. So take advantage if you're part of the community. Again, people, power in numbers. Trading alone can be difficult sometimes. So it helps to have a group and a community aspect. So we have that. It's awesome. Thanks again so much, folks. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.